Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Jennifer's Tale, My Life as a Crossdresser. I, of course, am Jennifer, saying thank you for watching this episode if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you downloaded it and listening to it on your favorite podcasting streaming service. I hope you enjoy what you listen to. I hope you also check out previous episodes. There's plenty more where this one came from, where this one's at. If you're on YouTube, make sure you check out my channel and please watch some of the other videos, whether you are a crossdresser or a significant other of a crossdresser, or even a friend of a crossdresser. I think there's something useful in each of my episodes to get you to either know yourself better or know someone you love better, and hopefully grow as a person and maybe overachieve some setbacks or some issues you might have with your cross-dressing. And I hope you learned something. So, on to this episode. The topic of this episode is a kind of a question that I came across on another podcast. And they asked, is cross-dressing an addiction? And I thought, that's a good question, because when I think about addiction, in my case, the first thing I think of is smoking, because I smoked for quite some time. I first started smoking, I was kind of a late smoker. I started smoking when I was about 28 years old or so, 27, 28. And that was to impress my wife at the time, because she liked going out on the weekends and hanging out with her friends. And she smoked, she was a smoker. And so I decided, if I want to fit in, if I want to impress her, I should start smoking too. Well, it worked. It gave us something, a common bond, something that we had in common. And I kept smoking up until 2012. I had a health issue that caused me to quit. I quit cold turkey, and it was over and done just like that. Now, kind of looking at that as an addiction, because it is, you're addicted to nicotine. It was something that I started doing, and the more I started doing it, the more I enjoyed it. The thing I liked about smoking is that it wasn't so much the nicotine that I think I was addicted to. It was the fact that having something in my hand to mess around with, just like being an artist holding a pencil and twiddling around, fiddling with it, kind of the same thing. But also, for me, it was a good way to relieve stress. Smoking a cigarette, it causes you to inhale and exhale very slowly. And that repetition of slowly inhaling, exhaling, it lowers your blood pressure, it calms you down. And a lot of times when I was smoking, it was due to stress. So I kind of I'm sure the nicotine definitely had something to do with the addictive part. That's what you get addicted to. And when I quit smoking, I know it was really tough, not just holding that cigarette and not having something to hold, but also having that nicotine in. I had cravings for it for a good long time. In fact, here we are 12 years later, and there are still times when I smell a cigarette and it smells really good, and it kind of makes me want to have one. But that's so far in the past, it's not going to happen. So getting back to cross-dressing, well, I guess one of the things about cigarette smoking as an addiction is you feel like you have to have it. You have to have that cigarette. If you go too long without it, you need to have one. You need to have another one. So that's kind of part of what the addictive part is. And I guess if you look at cross-dressing, in a way, it is kind of an addiction, because if you are a cross-dresser or know somebody who's a cross-dresser, they will tell you dressing in women's clothes is something that they have to do. It's tough to not do it, and speaking from firsthand experience, especially since I'm just coming off a hiatus of not having any girl time for several months, it is an addiction in that I was really craving doing it again. Now, it's not something that is, detrimental to your health like smoking is, but at the same time, it is something that you feel a craving for, something that you want to do, something that you feel is a part of your life, a part of who you are, and not being able to do it really is tough. Not being able to wear pantyhose, not being able to get totally dressed up with makeup and clothes and looking sexy and feminine and going out and doing things, even as something like window shopping or going to Walmart. it's something that you miss. And looking back on my life, there was a long period of time from about 1995 until about the year 2000 or so where I went without dressing. And even after I got married, it was a good 10, 15 years before I started dressing again. And although, you can make it for a long period of time without doing it, you can tell yourself you don't want to do it again, you still feel that urge, that need, that craving to do it. But I don't think I would really classify it as an addiction, because cross-dressing and wanting to express your feminine side, it's a part of who I am. Most addictions are something that you have to experience first and then go without it to realize how much you want it and become addicted to it. Whether it's smoking, whether it's gambling, whether it's alcohol, you have to go out and experience it and do it and see how much you enjoy it. And then once you stop doing it, if you have that urge or that craving or that sensation that you want to do it again, the more that pulls on you, the more it feels like an addiction. Now for cross-dressing, I was born feeling this way. I was born having a strong feminine side, and it's a part of me. It's not something that I was forced upon me. It's not something that I, had somebody when I was little dress me up in women's clothes or in girls' clothes, and that was my first experience to it. And after that, that was when I felt the urge more and more to do it. It's ingrained. It is within me. And if you ask the majority, I would say the vast majority of cross-dressers, probably 90-95% of them, they would tell you the exact same thing. They would say, ever since I can remember, I've enjoyed wearing women's clothes. I've enjoyed trying on pantyhose. I've enjoyed the sensation of lacy lingerie on my skin. I enjoy expressing my feminine side and being a woman and being out and doing things. So it is addictive in that, once you do it, chances are you want to do it more. I can tell you that from experience, that as far as an addiction goes, and is cross-dressing addictive, that's where I would say yes. It's addictive, an addiction to the point where once you start doing it, if you have the freedom to do it, you want to do it more and more. Somebody asked me recently, if you had the luxury, how often would you dress up as Jennifer? Right now, when school's in session, I get to maybe once a week get dressed up as Jennifer. And in an ideal world, if I had my way, I would dress up a couple times a week, 2, maybe 3 times a week. I don't want to be Jennifer 100% of the time. I would like to do it more often than just 4 hours a day, 1 day a week. I would like to have a day where I could get up in the morning, leisurely get ready, and have an entire day to myself, so that by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I could change back to Jeremy or change back to my male self and call it good. But that's the addictive part, is that you start doing it and you want to do it more and more. So I guess kind of to sum things up, as far as is cross-dressing an addiction, it's not an addiction to the point where it's a craving that you have based on something that you tried and want to do more of. It's an addiction in that it's something that is within you, but once you start doing it, you want to continue doing it and doing it more. So I think that might answer it. If you have any comments and thoughts of your own about if cross-dressing is an addiction, feel free to let me know. Send me a message on Facebook, leave me a message here on YouTube, or a comment wherever you can find me. And that's it. Until next time, I hope this episode finds you well, and hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.